So, how are you, Vishal?
Yeah, I'm good, sir. I'm good.
Great, great, great. So, what about the classes, the previous classes? Any doubt?
So previous classes, I was not able to, means no doubt actually, but I was not able to revise it, okay, due to something, but I'll revise it anyway in this week.
Got it. Got it. It's all right. So, if you have any other doubt, maybe we can, take it later on.
Yes, sir.
So, so far we have discussed the basic foundations about F5 ASM, right, or the advanced web.
Right.
Now, let's proceed further. Just give me a minute. Okay. So, let me tell you what happened is when something comes on the ASM that is not legitimate. Okay, so let us say this is the hacker, the bad guy. This is putting out some request which is not good. Okay, this request will go to the F5 ASM, and after the ASM there is server, right? That is
Right.
the flow. Now, if something is coming which is not legitimate, you are already aware, I shown you in the practical that it generate a support ID. Right or wrong?
Right, sir.
This support ID will talk about that, okay, what is the number against your request, and you as an ASM administrator can go to the box and check what this support ID means, like what kind of attack it is, okay? If there is some attack signature match, there is some brute force, data guard, or what kind of, attack happened. Now, let me divide these attacks or these violations into one of the two modes. Okay. Okay. So I was talking about these violations. Now, what I was saying is when you have some violation, right? When you have some of the support ID or some kind of violation appears in front of you, these violation can be divided into two parts. It can be defined on the basis of some entities, okay, or it can be divided on the basis of some items. Now, what are these two terms that you need to understand? Am I audible, guys?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if you see the entities, in the entities are the those part which which is the part of your application. Okay, it can be an object, it can be a method which compromise your application. How? Like file type. So what file types one application has, maybe the second application does not have that, right? Like cookies. So one of the cookies can be used in one of the application. Another application may use some other cookies, like URLs, like the HTTP methods, what it is using. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Like parameters. So there can be different parameters in one applications. What kind of headers you are using, right? So these are the components with which your application is getting formed. So when something appear, some violation comes using this, whatever I am mentioning the example, right? If such example, such thing appear into your box, it means that it is entities based violation. Okay.
Right.
Now let's come to the items. Items is something maybe you can say with respect to the ASM, like HTTP protocol check. So it doesn't matter which application you have, ASM will check this. ASM will check your all the evasion techniques. It may or may not appear, but it will check. ASM will check. Like your CSRF, right? Like your geolocation base. If you have some kind of, restrictions, you can put over here. Like your data guide, your brute force can be one of them, right? Or the major thing is attack signature. So when violation appears in such forms, these are the items based violation. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Now, what happened is when these violation comes, right? Whenever such violation comes, these violation come with some kind of rating. There is a rating associated with that violation. So you would be able to see those rating. I will be gonna show you in our practical lab also. Okay. So what happened is it can be 0, it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. As you go down, it is more severe. This is the violation. Rating ranks between your 1 to 5. 5 indicate the highest probability of real attack with high severity. And this is bit like nothing but a threat scale, you can say. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Then, whenever some violation comes, there can be, you can see some symbols. Like when you are able to see this symbol, it means it is a legal request. Whenever you see such kind of symbol, okay, all that, it will be the block request. Okay. When you see such kind of this flag, you will be able to see this flag. It means request is not blocked, but there is something which need to be checked, named as illegal request. Majorly, these illegal request comes when your policy is into the transparent mode, but your attack signatures are matching. Getting this point?
Yes.
Then there can be such like this kind of symbol also, which is shown as unblocked request, which means, let me give an example. We have blocked some country, ABC country, okay? But one specific IP we are allowing. So it will show unblocked request. Why? Because that IP belongs with the ABC country, but we have put a specific rule that, okay, it should be allowed. And there can be a challenge request also that I will be gonna show you when we will be doing like some kind of challenge in the brute force attack or like those. So far, any doubt?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, I talked about one thing that the policy can be into the manual mode and into the automatic mode. Remember?
Yes, sir.
So when you build your security policy, your enforcement mode defines or determine what action need to be done on the packet. As I was telling you before some time, if this is your ASM, policy is into the transparent mode and some illegitimate request will come, it will go to the server. It will not get blocked. Okay, although it is an illegitimate request, but there would be a symbol that will come, that will appear in front of you, that it is an illegal request. That is what I was mentioning before some time, right?
Yes.
So what we need to do is we need to put this policy from transparent mode to the blocking. Okay.
Right.
So If your policy is into the automatic mode, by default, 7 days is your enforcement time. It will get automatically blocked into the 7 days. If it is manual mode, you need to do it. It doesn't matter 7 days, 30 days, or whatever it is. Or this day is bit like your trial period, right?
Right, sir.
So here it will not do anything, but it will just read the traffic behavior, but it will not take any action. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
So when I am saying it read the traffic, what does that mean is policy is into the transparent mode, traffic is coming. Okay, the legitimate traffic or the illegitimate traffic, both kind of traffic are coming. Right? And these are coming in very bulk around the world. Your application is launched and this traffic is coming from everywhere. Right? This traffic, but obvious during this trial period, as I told you, will go to the server also. Right? But what FI ASM will do, it will show you the request into the logs, one thing. Second thing, it will give you some suggestions. There would be a page you can able to see where suggestions will get appear in front of you. These suggestions are named as learning suggestions. Okay.
Right.
Just a minute. Give me a minute. Just a minute. I'm making my lab also up so that we can, do the practice also. I can show you these things and you will understand more about it. Okay. Meanwhile, it is loading. Let me just go ahead for the theory. So if you see what I was mentioning about the learning suggestion, that your ASM generates some suggestion for each violation where your all the details will be get mentioned, right? So when it receive any request, it trigger some kind of learning for you guys, whosoever is maintaining this ASM box policy. Okay. This suggestion, let us say if somebody is using JPG file, it will say JPG file. Okay, it is a legitimate traffic, and there would be a score for the learning suggestion also. Let us say 5%. But same request, let us say, are keep on coming, keep on coming, keep on coming. This score will 10%, 15%. I am just giving an example, and in the last it will show as a 100%. Okay. So if you are into the automatic mode, when this score will become 100%, this learning suggestion, will be accepted automatically.
Sir,
I am going to show you in the lab. Don't worry. Okay.
okay, sir.
In
I
some
am
time,
not
I am
able to
going to show you.
understand that percentage means how percentage value means. Earlier
So
we talked about the score, right? 0 to 5. Here we are
that
talking
was the rating,
that was rating, and here it's a percentage.
rating of the violation. But now I am talking about what? I am talking about suggestions, learning suggestions.
Okay.
Earlier, the actually not zero, that is 1 to 5, you can say. Okay, zero, I was mentioning that when nothing is there, but it's only 1 to 5 is the rating. Rating of what? Of violation.
Violation.
So when violation is coming, where you can see this? You can see this in the event logs. But now I am talking about the learning suggestion, which is a different page altogether. It will also have some kind of score, which will keep on increasing depending upon the number of requests. So there would be a traffic learning screen which display the all of these learning suggestions. Either it is compliant or non-compliant, that doesn't matter. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
See what happened. Let us say, okay, let me tell you. Let us say you have, this is your screen where learning suggestion is there. Let us say 100% is there, 50% is there. A lot of suggestions are there, right? You can go to this screen. If it is manual, you can accept it by yourself. Accept means it will take the necessary action on that security policy. What does that mean? That these learning screens are available individually for separate policies. So different policy have different learning suggestion. It is not same for every policy. You need to go there and you need to select the policy. In the drop down menu, there would be policy list 1, 2, 3, whatever policy you want to choose. Let us say you are choosing second. It will show the learning suggestion for the second policy only. Okay, which I am gonna show you in a moment. But first, I need to make your foundation strong. Now, when these suggestions are there, you can accept it. When you are accepting, let us say this suggestion is telling that I got a request with, let us say, patch method. Okay, this application is using patch method and the learning score is 100%. You can, when you are accepting it, it means in your HTTP method of that particular application, patch method will be allowed. It will modify your application security policy. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
What you can do? You can delete this learning suggestion if you want, right? So first I talked about accept. You can accept it. Second, I am talking about delete. Delete learning suggestion. What does it? It will delete or remove that learning suggestion. But when new request will come, okay, again it will appear from the starting like 5%, and from there it will go to the 100%. Then what you can do, you can put this attack signature, or you does not do anything, just ignore it. So it will not take any action, right? Sorry, not ignore. Ignore is something else. Ignore is what? When you click on ignore, this learning suggestion will not appear in the on the screen, maybe on the screen. So let us say you have this learning suggestion. You put it under the ignore, right? Ignore means you wanted to ignore it. So it will just wipe out from the screen and it won't show you again. Although if by mistake you did it ignore and you want to get it on the screen back, there is some option that I will tell you. But these are the main actions what you can do. You can export it also. Okay, whatever thing you wanted to export, you can export it also whenever you want. That all things we will be gonna show in some time. But for now, with respect to the theory, is there any issue?
No, sir.
No issues?
No, sir.
So as an F5 ASM team member, what we need to do is we need to fine tune our security policy. Okay. So what happened? Let me tell. Let us say you have F5 ASM here. One application comes to you and they wanted to onboard it behind the walls. Okay. This application is, let us say, abc.com. Now, in the very start, you will put a security policy. That security policy would be under the transparent mode. So whenever any user will come, it will come to the FIASM where you have a virtual server created, and on that virtual server you have a policy, security policy applied, right? So traffic will pass out from this virtual server to the policy, and from policy to the pool, and it will go to one of the pool member as it happens in your LTM case, right? But this policy will keep on learning the traffic. As an FIASM people, we need to fine tune this policy. Let us say for 7 days or for 15 days, you can just see the traffic and you can interact with your application team owners. And from there, you build this policy and you put into the blocking mode. After that, okay, blocking mode. Once you put into the blocking mode, if some request is coming, which is not good, then a violation will occur. And user will not be able to go to the application server. That is how the traffic flow will happen in case of your FIASM. And I already talked about that when you are applying the policy, it means on your virtual server, one LTP will get created, right? Local traffic policy.
Yes.
This local traffic policy says that at the request time, all the traffic need to go to this policy. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Now, let us say 7 days or 15 days passed. Okay. Before putting it into the blocking mode, your ASM will show you one more thing. One more screen you can able to see. That screen is enforcement readiness summary. Okay. Now this screen will get populated with the help of your learning suggestion screen. Learning suggestion. So let us say there are lot of learning suggestions which are keep on coming. 100%, all of them are 100%. Now there would be a summary. As you can see, this is a summary, readiness summary. What happened is your ASM will show that, okay, I can see these attack signatures are matching and ready to enforce. Let us say there are 3K total. Okay. Out of which it will show you these 500s are ready to enforce. You can enforce them. And how this screen is getting populated with the help of learning suggestion. Everything your ASM is doing by its own. Right?
Yes.
Let us say file type. It will say that, okay, these file types, let us say 10 file types are ready to enforce. You can please enforce it. And when you are enforcing file type, it will be bit like JPG is the file type. What could be the maximum size? Let us say 1000 KB. Okay. Or let us say 10 MB. Okay. 10 MB. So 10 MB is the file size. Okay. Request, response, whatever, it will just check. Now, what happened when you enforce these things, and if somebody is coming up with the 11 MB of the file, that will again get rejected. Why? Because your setting, in your setting, you have did it 10 MB. Getting my point?
Right, sir.
So again, you need to do the fine tuning then. That, okay, this size can be more than 10 MB, let it be 20 MB. Because that doesn't harm, right?
Right.
So these are the stuffs you need to do as an FIASM people, like team. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then let me give you one or two more overview. Then we will see the policy and we will, do some practical. Now, As I was mentioning you, when you are putting the security policy, you need to apply a couple of the things. One of them is server technologies. In our previous class, server technologies like PHP is the language, Linux and Unix is your right operating system, then MySQL or PHP. Okay, sorry, not PHP. PHP MyAdmin, maybe the database, right? So those things you need to specify. After that, what happened is on that security policy, let us say this is security policy for ABC application. When you put these server technologies, with respect to these server technologies, like for PHP, whatever attack signatures are there, those will get applied on the security policy. For Linux, Unix, how many attack signatures are there? It will get also applied on the security policy. SQL, how many attack signatures are there? It will get applied. Because in general, there can be a more attack signatures. Why to apply all? Let's mention specifically what server technologies we are using, and depending upon that, only those application attack signatures will be get used into our security policy. Are you with me?
Yes, sir.
You are getting this point, yes or no?
Right, right. So unnecessarily we will avoid the necessary resources and everything.
Yes, very simple, but it is an important question with respect to your interviews,
Yes, sir.
right? So what happened is whenever some request will come, your ASM will review those violations, right?
Right,
And you as an ASM administrator need to check, are these violations are literally, good or the false positive, right? If it is false positive, then you need to tune the security policy. So this is your policy enforcement cycle. Are you getting this point?
right, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So this is your policy, security policy.
Hello.
Sorry. So this is your security policy enforcement cycle. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So security policy is bit like you are building the route map where multiple of ACLs are there. You need to define the classification of legitimate HTTP traffic, and your violation can occur. And violation is what? It is an event of the failure of these rules, whatever you are applying, right?
Right,
So when violation occur with some aspect of a request or maybe with response, and it means it does not comply with your security policy, and ASM can detect those violations, right? So as an ASM administrator, we need to determine that how the system should treat this request in the future if it is a false positive. If multiple requests are coming again and again and these are false positive, then as an FI admin, we this is our responsibility that we need to fine tune it. Any doubt?
no, sir. Clear.
Getting this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. If this is the case, now let's jump to the lab directly, and there we will see all of these things like how false positive come, what is the rating, what is the learning suggestions, how this screen look like, what is the readiness period. Okay. So these all things what we discussed, we need to check it. So you are already aware that we have this FIASM, we have this window box, there is a DMG firewall, and let me just make our PHP admin application on. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What we will be covering now, or how we will be, doing it. First of all, on the F5 ASM, we need to create a security policy. Okay. Here you can see there is FIASM. We need to create a security policy with respect to this PHP myadmin PHP application. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Once this is done, let me tell you. Once this is done, what we will be gonna do? We will put some attacks from this external user. It will go to the ASM. From ASM, it will go to the application. So we will initiate some request which are not good or containing the attacks. FIASM security policy, first we will keep it into the transparent mode. I will show you their violations or the event logs. There I will show you all the ratings because different attack I will be gonna do so that you can see different ratings associated with it. There I will be gonna show you the flags also. So rating you can able to see, flags you can able to see, right? These two things you will able to see there in the event logs. Similarly, when such requests are raised, you would be also able to see the learning suggestion screen. Okay. And when learning suggestion screen will build, see, we need to do some modification because it is a lab environment. So I am gonna give you some trick that how your learning suggestion will go with 100% in a single request. Okay. And in your like production environment also, what you can do, you can for your developer team, okay, for your developer team, even they are initiating one single request because those are the legitimate people. We can put the learning suggestion as 100%. How we can do that? That I will teach you. Okay, in some time during our lab, and we will see the learning suggestion. We will try to apply that. Okay, and I will show you how security policy modification can done. In the event logs also there is some accept kind of button, but we need not to use it because that may or may not work. That is not 100% reliable, but learning suggestion is on the basis of learning suggestion where you can see the enforcement readiness summary that I will be gonna show you. Okay, because it's not ready to use available means you cannot see it directly, right? Where you can able to see that I will be gonna show you. So without wastage of time, let me go to our lab and let us create this security policy and do these labs. Okay.
Okay, sir.